Today we are dividing polynomials. What's going to be new or different today is you are going to have some times where the terms are not in order. So just pay attention on that. And sometimes on your X,
Didn't we do this already?
we've done this. We've done, all of this is very similar. I'm just adding a little bit of step. That part we've already done. But on this time, we're going to have some times where we have a number in front of your X, but not a 1 for the constant. And so, and there's not going to be an X squared. So you're looking at trying to figure out how to find that division factor a little bit different. And so today, at the second term, or second factor, is 2x plus 3. So we've done it where we've had 2x plus 1, or 2x minus 1. But we've never had it to where both of them are numbers. How many rows would be created here? 2. How many columns?
3, 4.
4. Because you have x cubed divided by an x. That's going to start you off at x squared. And go down, all the way down to your remainder is going to be 4 columns. Last period pointed out that if it's a 3 and you're dividing by a linear, that means there's not an x squared on the second part. It's going to be 1 more than your exponent in columns. And we said that there's going to be 2 rows because why? There's not an x squared. What would the first row be in front of it? 2x. And the third row and the second row? Now, what would the first box be in the first column? 4x3. And to create this spot here, we are going to take 4x cubed divided by 2x, and that gives us what?
2x.
Then we're going to take that 2x times the 3, and it's going to give us what? Is it going to be squared or?
Squared.
Now, to get our 6x squared, what do we need to get it to? What's our goal to get it to? What do I need to add to that in order to create negative 2x squared? Negative. Now, we're going to take that negative 8x squared and divide it by 2x. Gives us a negative 4x. So you take that negative 4 times a positive 3 gives you a negative 12x. Now we're going to take that negative 12x and divide it by 2x, and that gives us a negative 6. Oh, wait a minute. Why did I do that? It should be 0. No, it shouldn't. It should be creating a 0. So it's positive 12x. Divided by 2x, and that gives us 6. 6 times 3 is 18. What do I need to add to 18 to create 20? This is our remainder column. And so in the remainder column, remember, all you have to do is complete in your addition for any additions that you need to, your combinations. So you're not doing the multiplication on your remainder ever. So our answer is 2x squared minus 4x plus 6 remainder 2, or I can write that another way. What's the other way I can write that?
You write
Not as an exponent, but as a...
You write the 2 over the 2x plus 3.
So we can write a remainder as a fraction. So everything else is going to be the same. So 2x squared minus 4x plus 6. Am I going to add the fraction or subtract the fraction in this case? Why is it added in this case? Because the 2 is positive. And so either answer is accepted unless I tell you specifically write your answer in fraction form, then I need it this way. If I ask you to write it in remainder form, that's when you put the R. Let's do one more. How many rows am I going to have?
2.
Why?
No exponents.
No, squared in the division. How many columns am I going to have?
6.
6. What goes in front of my first row?
4x.
What goes in front of my second row? So we determined what went in which row by whatever's in front of your x goes in the front. Whatever has the x goes in the first row. Whatever has the number goes in the second. What if I had an x squared in what I'm dividing by? Which row would that go in every single time? The one with the x goes in the second and the constant goes in the third. So these need to go down in order from highest exponent to lowest exponent. They may not always be written in order, so make sure you rewrite it. What goes in the first box?
4x.
Now we're going to look at our division. So we're going to take that 4x to the 5th and divide it by 4x, and that gives us x to the what? X to the 4th times negative 5 is going to give us negative 5x to the 4th. So what am I trying to create when I add to this negative 5x to the 4th? What's my goal? So what do I need to add to create that? Anytime this spot says 0, unless you're in your remainder column, that means automatically what's underneath it's a 0. And you just go down 1 in the exponent. So what do I have to create for my x cubed?
Nothing. 0.
0. So that's going to be a 0x cubed. So what does that automatically make my x squared that's underneath it?
0.
So that means I don't have to write anything in these two spots. If you want to factor out a 0x, an x cubed in the first one and an x squared on the second one, you can, or you don't have to write it. Anytime you factor out a 0, that's something that you don't write. So now let's look at the next column. I am going to try to create a what in my x squared spot? Negative 8x squared. So negative 8x squared divided by 4x gives us a what? Positive or negative? So negative 2x times a negative 5 gives us a
Negative 10x.
positive 10x because it's a negative times a negative. And so for my x, what am I trying to create? 14. So what would I need to add?
4.
So 4x divided by 4x gives me, so 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. And my remainder is what? So my final answer is x to the fourth minus 2x plus 1. No remainders.